I was watering my lawn this morning. It's something I started doing occasionally in the mornings to get outside and get a little sunlight in my eyes from the Andrew Huberman daily routine video that I did. And it really got me thinking about other stuff, because what else do you do when you're standing outside watering your lawn? And for some reason, that quote, "the grass isn't greener on the other side, it's greener where you water it," kept coming to mind. It was kind of good because it sparked some thoughts that I had on the back of my mind, and I thought I'd make a video on it because I live with a lot of regret, even though I got a stupid no regrets tattoo on my stomach when I was like 22 years old. But I do live with a lot of regret. And when I think about a lot of that regret, that quote makes a lot of sense, because a lot of the stuff that I think about or wonder, what if I would have done that, or what if I do this now, it makes me stop focusing on the present. It makes me stop focusing on what I have. And I realized that I'm looking for the other side. I'm looking for that grass to be greener somewhere else. And by doing that, I'm not taking care of the things that I have control of right now and the things that are right in front of me, the things that I can water. My recent trip to Europe made me realize that the grass isn't greener on the other side. Not because Europe wasn't cool, but because I felt that we weren't really happy where we were living here in the US, and we wanted to see what it was like on the other side. I was expecting a lot of my problems to just go away. I thought that much of my stress was coming from my day job because it was conflicting with what I wanted to do with YouTube. And then by going and doing that trip and quitting my job, I quickly realized that that came with its own set of problems and its own stresses. It wasn't necessarily greener, but it was nice. It was a nice change. It was a good reset for me, and it helped me put things into perspective, and it helped me realize what I needed to start watering. And a lot of that was things that were within me, or things that were nearby, not things that were far away, or things that I felt that I needed to reach out to obtain. The things that I need to water are my relationships with my wife and kids, my mental health and my physical health, which I had neglected for years because I was worried about trying to become a programmer. I was worried about trying to make more money. I was worried about trying to save more money. I was worried about all the things that were in the future and all the things that I didn't necessarily have control of. And now, after putting things into perspective and kind of reevaluating everything that's happened and thinking about what it is I really want, I'm focusing more on nurturing the things that I realize now are important to me. Not so much chasing the next big goal, because I find myself constantly chasing that greener grass. It doesn't stop. At some point, you have to figure out what's enough for you. You got to figure out if you're over watering your lawn, or if you need to focus on maybe trimming the hedges or mowing the grass every once in a while. Because the truth is, you're going to keep moving your goalpost. You're going to keep setting bigger and bigger goals when you accomplish the things that you set out to do. For me, I was never a high achiever. I've only recently started making strides in improving my life. I do regret that I didn't start that stuff earlier. I do think of that grass being greener had I started focusing on myself and my mental health and making money and learning new skills and improving my life when I was 20, but I didn't. And the truth is, I guess maybe just I wasn't ready, or I didn't want it enough. But when I started watering the grass to make those things happen by saving money, paying off my debt, finding a good girl that would marry my stupid ass, going in on a house with her, and then going in on a baby with her, and then going in on another baby with her. And the first baby was really what made me start thinking about my future, because it's not something that I really ever thought about. I didn't care about that. But then when I saw that I had to take care of a human being for the next, 20 years or the rest of my life, I realized that I did have to start focusing on my future. And that's when I started watering my grass. And that's when I realized that I had to start making changes. The time was then, and there's a time and place for everyone. But a lot of us don't see it because we're too caught up with our own vices or distractions or lives that are too busy, and we don't have time to actually sit back and realize the areas that we need to repair a little bit and the grass in our lives that we need to water. And it doesn't help that nowadays we see so much greener grass. You see it on social media, you see it on TV, you see it everywhere. There's always somebody doing better than you. There's always somewhere better that you can be. There's always something better that you can be doing. But if you don't start taking care of the things that you're able to take care of right now and the things that you're doing right now and focusing on fixing and repairing those things, then you're never going to get to that other side. I grew up pretty broke, so like a big thing that I think is going to fix a lot of my problems is making more money. But I realized when I made more money, it just came with its own set of problems. And while I'm very interested in trying to obtain financial independence and financial freedom and all those things, I realized that right now might not be the time for that, because that comes with a lot of sacrifice and it's a lot of work. And when you start to sacrifice things that you should be taking care of, like your family, your mental health, your physical health, and all those things, to try to attain something else that you think is what you need and is out of reach at this time, you're going to keep chasing that carrot on a stick and you're never going to get it. And then you're going to neglect all the stuff that you have right in front of you, and your lawn's going to die, and it's going to be a desolate wasteland without any hope for growth until you start focusing on it and watering that lawn. The other side doesn't exist. The other side is bullshit. The other side's not there. Some big crazy move to Europe isn't gonna change any of my problems. Realize that there isn't gonna be some miracle or some destiny moment where everything comes into place. While there's always luck involved in a lot of things that happen, if you don't work towards certain things, you'll never get that strike of luck, because you're not going to get lucky landing a good programming job if you haven't been studying and learning how to code. You're not going to get lucky blowing up a YouTube channel if you haven't been focusing on making videos. You're not going to get lucky with your health if you haven't been eating well and working out. Those are all things that you are in control of and that you have to take care of, and that I have to remind myself those things. You have to work towards that stuff. If you don't try to fix the areas of your life that are messed up, you're never going to be happy. I'm realizing I have a lot of issues. I've known I had a lot of issues, but I'm actually trying to fix them now. Before, I would try to distract myself with video games or drugs and alcohol. And now I'm starting to realize that no matter how much I distract myself, I have to focus on fixing myself and working on myself and watering my own grass. Because if I'm over there looking at somebody else's lawn, thinking about how nice it is and saying, you know, my lawn sucks, it'll never be as nice as my neighbor's, it'll never be as nice as the next neighborhood over, it'll never be as nice as the lawn on a multi-million-dollar mansion. And it's true, it might never be, but I can make that lawn as green as I can, and I can tend to it, and I can water it, and I can nurture it, and I can make it the best lawn that I can have. All right, I feel like this video is very philosophical. Honestly, it's because I got a bunch of B-roll watering my grass. And as I was watching it, a lot of these thoughts came to mind. And I also had a lot of these thoughts as I was watering my grass. So I figured it'd be a nice little video that I can make to maybe help somebody out there that might be worried about the other side too much and isn't focusing on their own lawn. All right, with all that said, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.